Hey, this is Tommy from the Carbons, and you're listening to Fox on the Wire.
You're listening to Fox on the Wire. Is that because of the the smoke smell and stuff?
Yeah, I just don't want it to smell. So I have I was just saying I'm in the process of changing because I was barbecuing earlier and I forgot to change. and and I was about to put on my jacket because I'm in my bus and it's kind of chilly.
Yep.
So I was gonna put on my jacket, but I want my jacket to start smelling like steak spice.
Although that smells amazing, you probably don't want that smell on your clothes all the time.
Yeah, exactly. No, it tastes amazing and it smells amazing when I'm hungry. But if I'm chatting up some birds, which I don't do because I'm married pretty much. But
yep.
If I were, then yeah, I don't want to be smelling like steak spice.
A man's got to be prepared, and I'm sure you don't have a washing machine handy in the bus there that you can just wash your clothes and smell fresh again. Or do you?
No, I'm pretty well equipped, but I don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking for my tooth now. I just had it. Well, that should be okay. Anyways, do you want me to turn the camera the other way?
Yeah, maybe actually. It doesn't really matter. Try it though, maybe.
Doesn't
matter.
What
it looks like.
Okay.
See what it looks like. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's better for you?
Oh yeah, that's good. Is that all right for you? Is
nice.
it good for you?
Oh yeah, totally.
Cool.
It's awesome.
All right. Have we got a bit of a delay? Yes, we do.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll work with it.
It's not that bad for me. It doesn't seem. You can work with it. You think?
Yeah. I'll try and not cut you off, and yeah, we'll be fine.
Sounds good.
All right, Tomy Thisdale of the Carbons. Welcome to episode number 81 of Fox on the Wire.
81. Damn,
81,
dude.
man.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been it was a bit of a slow 2022, so I should be a few ahead of this one, but I was doing other things last year, so the podcast admittedly took a bit of a back seat. So I'm trying to get a few more down this year and talk to more people and stay in the loop a bit more. So yeah, welcome back to the show again.
Thanks, man. It's good to be back.
Now,
been watching your guitar videos. Yeah, I mean, now I know you're a shredder, but I don't know if I knew last time I talked to you. Maybe last time I did, but not the first time.
Well, I'd put the electric guitar down for the most part in the last 10 years, and did the whole acoustic thing because I had a few hard rock bands that broke up about 10 years ago. And I don't know, I dreaded the thought of starting a new band, and I got sick of trying to be in a band and have everyone on the same path mentally and free at this time, free at that time, and let's do this, no, let's do that. And I just really wanted to have a bit more control about what I was doing and how often I could do it. And I think sort of when I decided to go solo and do the acoustic thing, which I still love, but I've really missed the band stuff and playing electric guitar in the last year or two. And sort of getting back into it and just getting my chops up and probably playing better than I ever have, really. So I'm just in the process of trying to get a proper band together and make that sort of public and do some recordings and stuff like that. But I'm just taking it at my own pace at the moment. So should see some things this year, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I
But
can definitely relate to that. The whole like, wanting to go at your own pace and people not kind of, you know, not wanting to go at the same speed. I definitely can relate to that.
yeah, but at the same time, the solo thing is pretty lonely as well. Like it's good to be able to just pick up your guitar and go to a gig anytime, anywhere, and whatever. But a band is a whole different thing, and it's definitely something I miss. So you've been on many adventures. I think it's about a year since we last spoke to you, and
Yeah.
thought it's about time we get you back on. I've got no notes today, nothing at all. I'm usually prepared and got notes and done a bit of study, but I'm totally freeballing this one. So let's see how we go.
Well, we've done it twice now, so I mean,
Yep.
yeah, and we like chat. We were like text back and forth quite a bit. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think you need that many notes, if any.
No, I think we'd be able to do this and wing it and just and see how we go. So I think last time we spoke to you, you were in was it South America?
Yeah, Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, that's the one. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I was there. Yeah, I was on the east coast of Costa Rica when we talked, and barely had any Wi-Fi. I'm surprised we made it through the interview.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, I went down there to escape the madness of the world, and it worked. And I wrote like 50 songs in 50 days while I was down there. And then when I came home, I I tried to start like a solo project where I'd be like more like writing Jack Johnson type of songs, that kind of stuff. Because I like out of the 50 songs, like not all of them were rock, right? Like some of them were more like beach type music.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically lost like both my band members, and I was like, okay, well, I'll record this like beachy stuff, and I got basically like 2.5 songs in, and I was like, fuck this shit. And I was like, nah, I'm not done with rock.
Fair enough, man. Well, you are a surfer, aren't you? Like you do love the beach and stuff like that. So it
Yeah,
would make sense that you did that sort of music, but if you're not feeling
yeah,
it, you're not feeling it.
yeah. I mean, like I like the songs, and I played them. I've played them live and stuff, and it's not like they were bad songs, but it's just not what like lights the flame inside of me right now. Not saying that that's not going to be true in 5 to 10 years, but yeah, I just like I have all this stuff that I have to say, and I've already written it down, and now it's just a matter. It was just a matter of like recording it, and while I basically came home with no money because I spent it all in Costa Rica,
Yeah.
and so I decided, well, why don't I try recording everything myself inside the bus?
Cool.
Yeah, did I tell you that already?
No, I don't think so. No, that's really
Oh,
cool.
okay, perfect. Well, I don't know how much you're gonna be able to see right now, but on my socials, you can see the bus and what it looks like. Um, but yeah, I basically came home. I had a month where I had like the time to record. So I threw some drums, like I threw a drum kit inside the bus, or there was already one there. Started tracking drums with just two microphones, like one on the kick and then one like overhead mic. And yeah, finished one song, sent it to my to my engineer, like my mixing engineer, because he's kind of like a no bullshit kind of guy. Like if it would sound like garbage, he would tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was messaging me. He's like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here. Maybe we should go like more of a psychedelic route. And I told him, yes, I'm into that for sure. And so a few days later, he's like, okay, we should set up a Skype just to talk about production and stuff. Well, I actually initiated that. I was like, I'd like your production input on this album. Like, let me know what you can do. So he's like, okay, let's set up a Skype. So we set up the Skype, and then the day before we're supposed to meet, he messages me and he says, so I've done a few things to your song. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I mean, I trust you. And then he says, well, I did more than just a couple things to your song. And I said, yeah, okay, cool. I mean, you know, you haven't charged me yet.
Yeah, true.
I haven't paid you yet. And then he says, I actually mixed your song. I was like, what? So the drums sound okay? He's like, yeah, man, the drums sound good. I'm like, what about the vocals? I recorded the vocals inside the bus. He's like, yeah, vocals sound great. So after that, I was like, okay, we're doing an album.
Cool. Sweet. I thought you were going to tell me that he's like cut out verses here and just totally jumbled the song up and made it something unrecognizable, but that's cool. That's a cool story.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, like before he actually touched it, you know, we were talking back and forth about the vision of this song and of this next album. And, you know, I was telling him that I'm like influenced by Audioslave, and like I gave him a couple other references as well. And so he was on board, and like so far he hasn't really failed me. Like I actually have to push him to go further. Like I always tell him, like, mix it so that I'm scared. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want. I want to be like, I want to get the song back and be like, okay, that's cool, but it's too far. Let's dial it back like a couple notches, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
sounds pretty collaborative. Like you've got a lot of sort of faith in him, and you can sort of tell each other or be honest with each other and sort of push or pull each other back, whatever it might be. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and we don't always like I don't know if agree is the right word, but yeah, but I mean, like, that's the thing. I tell him constantly, like, I want you to go too far on everything, and so he kind of expects me to pull back for mix 2, you know. So he sends me like the first mix, and then sometimes I don't pull back. Sometimes, you know, I tell him like, wow, okay, that's the one. But you know, sometimes I'll like pull back, but he doesn't take it personally, because like that's kind of the strategy that we're using. I just like, the last thing I want is to look back, you know, 2 months after I mixed a song and think to myself like, oh, I should have been bolder. I should have tried something else. You know?
Yeah, I often wonder, like, how long is a good time to sort of, you know, let the recording process and the mixing process sort of play out, because it's a lifetime thing. Once you release it, that's it. Like it's locked in, and it doesn't mean it's bad necessarily, but it's very different. You know, if you've heard the first mix and you're like, sweet, that sounds great, done. You know, it's very different to how you're going to hear it 6 to 12 months, even 2 years down the track. You know, how long is it? How long is a good time? It's you probably can't even answer it, but I often wonder that sometimes. How long should I leave it? If I hear this mix and I'm happy with it, maybe I need to wait 2 or 3 months before I actually listen to it again and, you know, try and critique it or something like that. It's a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, I was struggling with this a lot at the beginning, but when we did our first album, but now, I've let go of, well, a couple things have happened. So I have a lot more experience in the studio now, and so I'm able to get my ideas out faster. And I also know when a song is ready to go into the studio. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Whereas before, like, I thought I was ready, then I go into the studio, and then I realize, like, oh, I haven't produced a song. Like, I've written a song, but I haven't produced it. Then we go into the studio, we start producing it, And then as we're producing, I'm getting new ideas, and then I want to try those ideas. But then the clock keeps running, right,
Yeah.
while we're in the studio. And then eventually I'm like, okay, well, I'm out of money. So then, like, let's print it. And then 2 months goes by, like you say, and then I have new ideas, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we've been playing it live, like, differently, and it's so much better and all that, right? And so now I want to go back and I want to re-record, right? Um, so the first part is that um, I've gotten better at, you know, producing the song before we go into the studio. And now with, like, having done this album by myself, like, I just took as long as I needed, right? I would be working on like 2 to 3 songs at the same time, and then I would, like, listen to it while I was working or while I was landscaping, like I was like, or whatever, I was like driving, I'd like bounce a mix and then listen back to it, and then I would analyze it. Okay, like, where is it missing something? Where is there, like, empty space? Like, can I add a lead guitar here? Or, like, do I need to do a different drum fill? Blah, 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 right? So I was, like, actively working on the songs as I went. So that's, like, kind of the first part. And then the second part is, well, the song is never done, really. But one thing that's cool is that, you can continue changing the song live. Like, unless it's like a single that, millions of people have heard, and you need to play it, like, but even then, you don't, even if you had, like, even if you were playing, like, what's a good example, like, well, Like a Stone, right, by Audioslave, like, um, even, Chris Cornell didn't sing it exactly like the record
Yep.
when he sang it live. And so, if there's things that you want to add or whatever, then just do it. Like, there's a big part in one of the songs from my last album that I should have added, or that I wanted to add, and I tried to add it before I sent it off to the mixing engineer, but it would have required, like, when I say I tried, as like, I tried, like, rearranging parts in the song to try and add this new part without having to go and re-record in the studio. And I couldn't make it work. But now that's how I play it live. We just have this big outro, right? And then people are like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, that's different from the recording."
Yeah, I think people appreciate that too, to an extent. Like, if you're just going to go and play live, exactly how I think it was Zakk Wylde that said this. If you want to hear the CD live, you might as well just stay home and listen to the CD. Basically,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
I guess as long as you can still recognize the song that you've come to see in some form, a live show is different, and I think it's okay to do it a bit differently live. Like Chris Cornell with his solo, tours, he would do Like a Stone. So obviously it's going to sound different to how it was performed in Audioslave. But yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's also what you said as well. Listening to your mixes in different parts of your day. Like while you're landscaping or driving, because everyone listens to music in different points throughout their day. Not everyone's just sitting in their room in front of awesome speakers and just focusing on the music. They're listening to music while they're gardening or while they're driving on different speakers, in different moods, different parts of the day, in different weather. It all adds up. So it gives you a better sense of the song, I think. So it's a good idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just practice. Like producing is completely different from writing, and writing's completely different from playing guitar. They're all, like, a bunch of different parts of the process. And I think, like, I found, like, a really good mixing engineer that I trust now. So, like, that part of it, I'm not even interested in really learning, at least not now.
Nah, me either.
But yeah, producing I've always been really interested in, and now I've dealt with, like, a couple different producers, and I'm gonna get a new one probably for my next album, like not this one that's about to come out, but the one after, just so I keep learning. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
it gets easier, like letting go of shit,
Mm.
and then yeah, just producing better music, I guess.
Yeah, I think, like, I'm not really interested in the mixing thing either. You know, a few musos I talk to, they mix their own things, and I'm like, can't even imagine doing it. Maybe for demo purposes, yeah, but not like
Right.
I still like the idea of doing majority of yourself, you know, the recording, the producing, and stuff like that. But then also giving it to someone to hear it with different ears and maybe have their take and opinion on it. I still like that idea. So yeah, I've got no interest in mixing myself either. I don't think I would have the patience to mix my own stuff anyway. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've been doing more recording at home, you know, guitar
Nice.
stuff and that, which, you know, saves a lot of money, but it actually gives you. I still like being in the studio, but you know, in the back of your mind, you know the clock's ticking and your wallet's, you know, getting a bit emptier by the minute, and the pressure's on, and you start thinking about other things like that, and it takes away from the performance a little bit. So in your own space, whether it be the bus or, you know, in the room here, you can really take your time and do 1,000 takes if you need to. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
the funny thing is that it takes less time uh,
Mm,
at home because you're so comfortable. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
sure, I'm sure there's like certain songs on. I would have to go back to through like the tracks for this album. I'm sure there are certain songs where I track like 12, 15 different takes, especially for vocals. Um, but I don't know. In general, I feel like it was going faster. It was going
Mm,
faster in my house or in the bus, recording, just because I was so comfortable and I didn't have any stress of the clock ticking.
yeah.
And yeah, just not having that stress. I mean, that's the thing. Like if we were loaded, and then you could just go into the studio and you still don't have that stress, right? And
Mm,
now you don't have the stress of finishing quickly, and also you're getting like the best sound quality. So, you know,
mm,
yeah, for Foo Fighters or Dave Grohl or whatever, then fuck yeah, let's
mm,
go.
yeah. So where are you at with this new album? Like, have you finished recording and mixing? Where are you at?
Yeah, it's all done recording. It's half mixed. I think I have five. I'm working on number six right now.
Yeah.
The first song's coming out on Friday,
Oh, cool. Oh, this is
so
good
that's
timing then.
exciting. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, first song's coming out on Friday. It's called Good News, and I started promoting it about 2 months ago on YouTube, and now um I have like 11.5 thousand followers on YouTube,
Wow.
and yeah, and like it's going really well. I basically like I found this guy on TikTok, and copied his like promotion strategy. He just like posting videos of him singing the song over and over again, different videos, and then using like other people's videos and putting his music on top of that. So yeah, it's been going well. And then the second song, I just got the master today actually, so it's gonna come out soon.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
is this gonna be under the Carbons name or Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. So yeah, like I was telling you earlier, um, I tried going to like my alter ego, Jack Johnson self, and it didn't. Yeah, it just didn't light the flame in me the way that these other songs are doing. So I don't know if I told you earlier, but I ended up recording like the drums, like the guitars, like everything for this album. So I think that was part of it too. Like I really wanted to bang on drums, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I recorded the drums. But yeah, it'll be under the Carbons still. Like,
Yep.
I basically started the band. Even the last guys that I've had with me, like the ones that you might have met, they weren't the original members, and so yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. I have new guys now; they're awesome. So yeah, let's keep going.
Excellent. Well, best of luck with it. I can't wait to hear it because you recorded the drums in the bus there, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Are they still set up?
Oh yeah, they're back there. I mean, they got a blanket over them, so you won't even
Uh,
see them. I mean, maybe I'll just take you to them.
yeah.
I guess
Give
I'm
us a
mobile.
tour. Give us a tour of the studio.
Well, it's pretty. It's pretty disorganized right now. Looks like
Yeah.
I'm in the Blair Witch Project now. Let's see if this will work. Hold on a second. How do I switch the camera around? Oh, here it is. All right. So these are not the same drums that I used to record,
hmm
but let's see if you can see them. Can you kind of see that?
Yeah. So is this the back corner of the bus?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so this is the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I said, my bus is a shit show right now. This
Yeah.
week is actually my week to like organize everything because
Right.
I was in. Sorry, my phone's going off right now. I was actually in Portland last week and then Seattle the first week,
Yep.
and so I've been like super busy, just like meeting musicians, and I'm basically on tour right now. Did I tell you that?
No. No. Cool.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's why I'm in the bus. Is
Yeah.
I my new bandmates don't have passports yet, so I decided to just go on tour by myself. So I got a visa to play in the States, and I'm just like hitting up like whatever open mic or venue that I could find that'll have me. And so I was in Seattle for a week, picked up a gig while I was there. Then I was in Portland for a week and working on a gig right now. I'm heading to San Diego. I have a gig there,
Cool.
and right now I'm in between Portland and San Francisco, and it's um, yeah, I'm just like going along the coast and stuff like that, and so that's why this week I'm gonna actually clean up the bus because I have like more time because I'm not driving like in a main hub where I'm like out every night like meeting musicians and stuff. So
Cool. So, just to give people a bit of a backstory, when we spoke last, you were in Costa Rica, and then I think you were thinking about heading to the States from there, but you ended up heading back to Canada, back home to Canada.
yeah,
And then obviously you've gone across to the US now.
correct. Yeah. So the backstory is in 2021, I bought this bus, turned it into a mobile stage, and started touring across Canada, playing like outdoor gigs wherever we could find them. And we ended up playing like 53 shows in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. And then things got crazy in the world. And so I went to Costa Rica and I decided I was going to go live my dream, my other dream. My dream is to be a musician, and my other dream was to learn how to surf.
Mhm.
So I went to Costa Rica. I learned how to surf. I wrote a bunch of songs, and then I came home. But yeah, like you were saying, my initial idea was my initial idea was to go to the States instead of Costa Rica. But my girlfriend wouldn't have it. She's like, "No, I don't want to be stuck in the States. Things are crazy over there." So we ended up going to Costa Rica instead. And then we were gonna go to the States halfway through. And then, like I say, shit got crazy there again. So yeah, I ended up coming home in late March of 2022. Is that right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Almost a year ago.
Mm. So how is it in the US now compared to Canada, say?
Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you this. I was barbecuing. Like, remember I was telling you I'm eating right now?
Yeah.
So I'll send it to you after, but I've been finding like these incredible places near the beach to barbecue. And so that's what I was doing, but I was in like this kind of fancy neighborhood that, is on a cliff and like oversees this, oh my gosh, like probably one of the coolest coastal views you'll ever see.
Wow.
And anyways, I parked my bus there. And the cool thing about this bus is that it's an old like handy bus. And so it looks very like not suspicious at all. It looks like a city bus,
Yeah.
right? And so I can park it anywhere, and unless you're up close and you see that there's like names like signed on it, from far away it just looks like, okay, yeah, this is a city bus. I don't know why it's parked there, but it just blends in,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sitting there. I have like like a little propane barbecue, with like the tiny bottles.
Mm-hmm.
You seen those before? Yeah.
I think so.
So here I am. I'm cooking my my dinner, and this cop shows up behind me, and he's like, "I'm really embarrassed," and in my head I'm thinking, "Are you embarrassed for me? Because I'm not embarrassed." He's like, "No, no, no. I'm really embarrassed to like even be bothering you. The people in these houses were just making sure that you weren't going to fall off this cliff."
How close
'Cause,
were
I'm
you?
like parked on the cliff. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty close, like few meters
Yeah. Oh, shit.
from the edge. Um, but no, the neighborhood wasn't worried about me falling off the cliff. That's just what they said to the officer to try and push me along, right?
Mhm.
But here I am. I'm eating my dinner. I'm done cooking at this point, and but yeah, you asked like how are the states? Like the cop was so nice, dude. Like he just came
Mm.
over and he's like, "Okay, you're not using charcoal. There's no like sparks, like because this stuff is flammable around here." I'm like, "Nope, none of that. It's all propane." So he's like, "Okay, cool. You enjoy yourself. You're not doing anything wrong. Just making sure you're okay." I'm like, "Sweet."
Okay.
So
Maybe. Yeah. So you didn't try and search your bus or anything like that.
no, no, he was kind of like nerdy actually.
Mm.
He had like a very yeah. He was the nerdiest cop I've ever seen for sure. Like
Okay.
probably a bit younger than me, like maybe fresh out of the academy.
Mhm.
Um, and but yeah, super nice. That's the second cop that I've had an interaction with on this tour, and it's been really positive.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully it stays that way.
yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, I'm not causing any trouble or anything like that. Well, the first time had nothing to do with me. It was just like there was this crazy lady in Portland in front of a Starbucks that wouldn't leave,
Mm.
and this cop showed up and was super professional, like de-escalating the situation, and the
Mhm.
the crazy lady was like up in her face, in the cop's face, and she didn't react. She just put her hand up and like, "Hey, listen, this is my space. I'm not getting in your space." And so, but yeah, no, the states have been great, man.
Yeah.
The people, I don't know, it's just normal. I went to Seattle.
Mm.
People were pretty normal. I went to Portland. People were a little bit weirder in Portland, I would say. But there
Yeah.
was also plenty of normal people. It's just a big city, There's normal people and there's weird people.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of I don't know if riot is the right word, but a lot of crazy stuff going on in Portland in the last couple of years, and
Yeah,
there's
and that's part of the reason why I'm here too. Is there are the neighborhoods that are definitely like that, but I slept in the bus just north of Capitol Hill, like where that Chops thing was.
Mm.
Yeah, like just not a few blocks away, but maybe like 20 blocks north of there, something like that.
in Seattle,
In Seattle. Yeah.
right?
Um, and it was fine, like no
Mm.
problem. there's a lot of tents and stuff like that, and like campers and whatever. Like, there's a lot of like, well, I guess it's legal there, but I was gonna say illegal camping. But yeah, I never really felt like in danger. Like there's like I said, there was that one crazy lady, but she got escorted away. Like there's like, drug addicts in the street and they're screaming their heads off, and that's unfortunate, but it's pretty localized for the most part. Like as soon as you get out of downtown, like you don't see any of that.
Yeah. How long did you spend in Seattle?
Yeah, a week in Seattle and a week in Portland.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
did you do a bit of a tour of Seattle, like some of the grunge, monuments, and I mean, I don't know what's there now. I was there like 15, 16 years ago, and we went to where Kurt last lived in the park. I think is it Victoria Park or something like that, next to his house there with the bench and stuff like that. Did you go there at all? Yeah?
I didn't go there, but when I was there last, actually, I went to the Museum of I think it's Pop Culture,
Yeah.
which my girlfriend dragged me to it. But then once I got there, it wasn't about pop culture at all. It was, but I mean pop culture from the '90s. So it was like all about Kurt Cobain, Chris Cornell, Jimi Hendrix. Who else? Those were the big three. Oh, Pearl Jam. So yeah, so it was super cool. Like going in there, they even have like a jam room where like you can link up with musicians and you're playing to like a guide track, kind of thing. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but this time that I went, I mostly just did a bunch of like music venues and met as many musicians as I could, because really what I'm doing is laying down the foundation for like a full band tour. Right.
Yep.
So I'm figuring out where the venues are that are still alive, that have made it through COVID. And then also on weekends, I like go and see bands play. And then if I can find like a good rock band or a good grungy or punk band or something, then I'll follow them, message them, and see if like they want to set up a show in the future.
Cool. So off to San Francisco next. Is that where you're headed?
Yeah. So I'm in between Portland and San Francisco right now, but along the coast. And yeah, San Francisco next, and then LA, then San Diego. I have to be in San Diego March 3rd. 3rd or 6th, I think, but I have a gig there, so I have to make it there. But other than that, I have nothing on the books.
Cool, man. It sounds amazing. It's probably the best way to see America is, driving on the bus, driving across.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing. Are you planning on heading to, Middle America and over to Texas and that sort of thing?
Yeah. My end destination is Austin, Texas.
Yep.
So I think I might have told you about this last time we chatted, but it was back then. It was only like an idea. But we're moving. My girlfriend and I are moving to Austin, Texas.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going down there to go to South by Southwest. Like it's a big music festival down there.
Yep.
And then if I have time, I might go a little further. Like I would like. Excuse me. I would like to go to New Orleans and maybe back to Nashville. Yeah, just so far, a few people have mentioned that I should go as far as Louisiana and like New Orleans. And also, I spoke to another friend of mine about songwriting and how important songwriting is, and how what's the word? And how diligent and hardworking people are in Nashville about that. So I would like to go to Nashville and spend at least a week there and do the same thing that I've been doing like in Seattle and Portland. See if I can find some musicians who want to co-write and write as many songs as possible in a week.
Mm. Yeah, I think there's obviously a lot of musicians living in Nashville now, and even people like Sean Morgan from Seether. I think he lives in Nashville now.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Dave Mustaine, I think, from Megadeth. I think he moved to maybe not Nashville, but Tennessee somewhere, and like,
Okay.
Kid Rock and all those sort of. There's just tons there. I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be an amazing place to go to. But what's your end goal here to get to Austin and get on the Joe Rogan show, something like that?
Correct.
Yeah,
right. Then I'll be famous.
Sweet. Well,
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
No, like the goal was, I mean, I've wanted to do a U.S. tour forever, and we had one planned in 2020. Obviously, it didn't end up happening, and I'm just, I'm tired of waiting. I have the bus. I can do it so cheaply right now. So, I decided to just go off on my own. Well, the other reason was that I was rebooking a tour from my house, from my laptop. And then as I was trying to book shows, I was coming across venues that were closed or, venues that had moved or just a bunch of stuff like that. And I thought to myself, why don't I just go? Like, I could, I mean, I have work like online right now. So I work from my laptop. So nothing's really stopping me. Like as long as I'm, being productive while I'm on tour. Yeah, like for example, like when I came to Australia, I had to pay a PR guy like $3,000 before I could come. And so I thought to myself, well, why don't I just invest that in myself? Like I'll spend that much on gas, but at least I'll meet people while I'm on the road and I'll make genuine connections as opposed to just getting an invoice. And I mean, the guy that I paid in Australia, like he was a great guy, but this is way better use of my time to come down here and yeah.
Plus, you get the experience, and it's a big freaking road trip, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's been great, man. I've already met some like great people, like guys that you would get along with too. Yeah, it's just nice getting out of the house and realizing that the world is not as crazy as it seems. It's still pretty fucked up, but once you get out of your house and you meet people face to face, you're like, oh, okay, there's plenty of people just like me.
And they're not as crazy as they might be online. You get a different sense of someone online than in person, don't you? Sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's a weird thing, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and I met this gem of a dude in Seattle, and he's the one like that booked me the show in San Diego, and he's trying to help me out with other shows in Austin. And then I met a couple really nice dudes in Portland who are like, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with this, but they know somebody at Interscope, and they say that they can get me a record deal. I mean, whatever. I'm just like, like I said, I'm just meeting people, and sometimes I meet weirdos and sometimes I meet really quality people. So,
Well, it's going to be good experience anyway for you, like for songwriting, for life, for your autobiography down the track. It's all good material for life. So it's pretty amazing what you're doing. So, all right. So we've got first single out. Was it this Friday?
Next Friday. Well, today's Friday, so a week from now.
Okay. So
so when you put out the podcast, then it will be this Friday. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I'll try and, because I've got another podcast to get out before this one, but I'll try and line it up with the single release as well. And we'll put some links in the show notes for that and for all your socials. And then you got a second single drop as well soon after, did you say?
Yes. I don't have a date for that one yet, but I got the master today. So probably between 4 to 6 weeks from today.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what about the album? You got a rough release month for that? Or you just gonna see?
I don't want to give a date that I can't deliver on.
Mm-hmm.
I would, yeah. I mean, if it was up to me, like, you know, if I had a 100,000 followers and a million followers or whatever, and everybody's like ready to hear it, then yeah, be fucking tomorrow. Then
Yep.
you know, all the money, like I have enough money to just pay it out. Like I'm still like, you know, mixing the songs as I go. Like when the money comes in. So yeah, it's not quite done, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to release as much music as I ever have this year. So
Cool. Looking forward to hearing all of it. And yeah, we'll put all your links in the show notes. Go and check it out, folks. I'm looking forward to hearing this new music from the Carbons. And yeah, check out Tommy's social medias as well, which I think is still under the Carbons mainly. The show, like Instagram,
the Carbons.
and TikTok.
There's 2 accounts on Instagram because I lost access to one last time I was in Seattle. But yeah, it's the one with my mug on it, the one with my face. That's the one that's active.
All right, well, that's the link I'll grab, and yeah, go and check it out, folks. Tommy's a whiz on the social medias, and he loves pumping out the awesome material. So we could all learn a bit from you, I think, Tommy, especially myself. But yeah, no, I'm happy
for how to cook a steak. I'm going to show you tomorrow.
yeah, I'd love to see that too. Unfortunately, we won't be able to smell it through the phone, but I'll just imagine it. So good to catch up with you, man, and I'm very happy for you and what you're doing. It's not something that just anyone could do. You know, it takes courage and determination and, you know, all that good stuff. So I hope it all pans out well for you, and by the time you end up in Austin, maybe Joe Rogan will be ready to have you on the podcast. So
we'll see. I'm eating his diet right now, fucking meat and fruit. So
meat and fruit. What's that called? What's that diet called?
I don't know, but he had some dude on talking about diets like a while ago, and it made a lot of sense to me what he said. He said, like, you want to eat fruit because they're full of seeds, and like nature wants you to eat the fruit and shit it out and then plant another tree, basically, right? Or another blueberry bush, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, sure, we can go down the rabbit hole of nutrition and you know, vitamins and blah, blah, blah and all that. But like, once he said that, I was like, all right, I can understand the research, but like, I don't have time to change my mind every 6 months when new research comes out, you know? So yeah. And then, the meat's pretty obvious. It's just like, yeah, I mean, humans have been eating meat like for thousands of years. So,
except they don't really want us to. They don't really want us to anymore, do they? So they're kind of, they're fucking with everything at the moment, especially in America. But that's probably a different podcast, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can talk about that all day.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, you know, some of these train derailments and stuff like that, and it's it's
I know, man. That's crazy shit. Like, I don't know. I was really paying attention to all of that stuff up until I would say 6 months, maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago. I was still paying attention to it when I got back from Costa Rica. So maybe it's almost been a year since I started distancing myself from the news. I mean, I still like catch up, you know, once a week or so, but yeah, I just decided that the best thing to do to stay free is to work really hard, make as much money as I can, and that's how I'm gonna achieve freedom. It's like make money, grow an audience, you know, work, produce music, just like do what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, still be cautious about, you know, what people tell you. It doesn't mean like, you know, but I mean, I have a pretty good bullshit meter, you know, for the most part. But yeah, I think that's the best thing we can all do is just like get as much resources as possible. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much happening. There's so many distractions, and it can distract you from your own path in life and make you too scared to do things or whatever. So there's a fine line between being aware of what's going on and getting caught up in it, I guess. And that's something I'm trying to do. And once you sort of have got your eyes open to things, it's hard to just close them and pretend it's not happening. But yeah, it's not good to get caught up in it either.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that you should close your eyes and pretend like it's not happening. I would just say there's certain things that you can control and other things that you can't control. And so just, be aware that there's crazy shit happening, but focus on the things that you can control, and then you'll become richer in every sense of the word. Right? Because, I mean, yeah, unless you're organizing yourself or like reorganizing your life to become like an activist, or you want, or a journalist or something like that, then I mean, you don't really need to be watching the news every day and knowing. I don't know, this is my perspective, because I was there like, yeah, like even a year ago, man, I could barely go surfing. Like I was literally living in paradise in Costa Rica. And I mean, you kind of live in paradise too, but I was living on the beach, and I was still like glued to my phone or to my laptop, like worrying about what's happening, or like wanting to get involved somehow, or like, and yeah, eventually I just decided, well, I'm aware that things are fucked up more than ever. Like I've always had like a small awareness of it, I would say. I guess a healthy distrust in the system for a long time. And now it's just a matter of, yeah, like I said, like just gain resources, gain influence, grow your network, and that's all we can all do. That's all we can do.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on, so to be fair, you had good reason to, keep checking on things, and I think you feel a bit of a responsibility to try and do something and try and share the information that you're getting, but a lot of people just didn't want to hear it.
Right.
As obvious as it might have been, it's just some people have just got they've just got that shut off totally until it might affect them in some way. But I just got sick of trying to share information and, being called a kook and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm just trying to, invest my energy in music and work and this podcast, and I still love music more than anything, and talking to other musicians, and we just keep going through life. It's never going to be easy, but it'd be nice if a few more people sort of took notice of what's going on, and then maybe so many bad things wouldn't be happening. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, honestly, man, like I think a lot of the people that have woken up are feeling similar to you and I. Mm-hmm. And so it seems like not that many people have woken up, right? Because everybody that has kind of has the same feeling, like, oh, nobody's waking up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just work on myself, and I'm going to focus on my thing because I'm tired of being called a conspiracy theorist or whatever, right? And so all of us are, are thinking that we're more alone than we actually are, right? We've stopped sharing things, right? And so people have like kind of stopped reaching out to us, and so we don't know if we're alone or not, right? But I don't know. I'm still, yeah. Some days I'm not so optimistic about the future, but mostly I'm optimistic, I would say. But yeah, like I say, all that you can do is grow your network. And this is what I was going to tell you is like, I had that feeling of like, why even bother for a while now. And then I remembered that I used to tell my family to invest money into like 401k or like what they call it, mutual funds here in Canada, right? To like grow their money in their portfolio. And none of them listened to me. Like none of them. And I would tell my brother like, hey, you need to set up like a separate account, and then money comes out of your main account automatically so that you save money. And you'll see you're going to save money way faster. Never listened to me. He might have done it like a couple years ago, and I told him this like 10 years ago. Then I tell him, then the stock market crashes like in 2020, and I'm like, don't take your money out. You're going to lose it. Just leave it there. It's going to come back up. If anything, you should invest now. What did he do? Nothing. The opposite. He took all his money out. I invested. So I doubled my money from what I reinvested, right? Like, people just never listen. They just don't listen. So it doesn't matter if it's COVID, financial, whatever, climate change, pick one. Yeah, people just don't listen. They're just afraid. Everyone's just afraid all the time, and that's how they manage their life.
Yeah, it's a conditioning from an early age, I think. I mean, you can see that with the youth now, how they're conditioned to be afraid, and
yeah.
Oh, look, it's pretty crazy shit. But yeah, it's probably another episode. I don't want to detract from your new music coming out. So let's call it an episode. And thank you very much for coming on, Tommy. It's been good to chat with you again.
It's been good to see you, man.
And I reckon we'll catch up with you again, maybe when the album comes out.
Sure.
And maybe when you settle down in Austin, Texas, something like that. Yeah.
Sounds good, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we're always in touch, so we'll figure it out and figure out when the time is right. But yeah, thanks for coming on again, and be safe out there on those American roads and the streets, and hope it all goes well for you.
Yeah. So far, I've driven past 3 gun shops, but I haven't bought one yet.
Can you, like, with what do you got, like a working visa or something? Can you buy one? I guess you can.
It depends. I think it depends on the state, but I think in Texas I could pretty much buy one at Walmart with no ID.
Yeah. Okay, that's probably a prerequisite for living in Texas.
I'm excited.
Absolutely. All right, Tommy, we'll catch up with you again soon, man. Stay safe, and I can't believe I just said stay safe. Be safe and take care. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll catch you again soon for another episode of Fox on the Wire. Cheers.